No way. Another day, another Erik Karlsson update. Speaking of updates, we finally have one on the injured winger Bryan Rust. Plus, a golden opportunity that the Penguins cannot afford to miss on. This episode of Penguins Digest is going to be chaos because there are three huge updates pertaining to the Pittsburgh Penguins that we have to cover on today's episode. And I'm so excited to have you guys with me here today for another episode of Penguins Digest. Before we dive into it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me if you haven't already. 80% of you have not yet subscribed to the channel, so hit that sub button and we will keep you up to date with daily Pittsburgh Penguins coverage, news, rumors, analysis, and right now we have three big ones for today's video. The first one, a long overdue homecoming is seeming more and more possible for the Penguins. Pittsburgh native John Gibson has been on the trade block for a very long time, but right now he is more expendable than ever, and I'll tell you why. The Anaheim Ducks made a big trade acquiring a new goaltender to take John Gibson's place on the roster. Gibson is currently injured, and they traded for Ville Husso, a 30-year-old goaltender from the Detroit Red Wings. They gave up future considerations to bring in Husso to compete alongside Lucas Dostal. Dostal is the #1 goalie in Anaheim, but it has been a 1A, 1B situation all year with him and John Gibson. Now that Ville Husso is on the roster, they have three formidable goaltenders, and they can afford to trade Gibson even more so. The Ducks making this trade tells me that John Gibson is 100% going to be traded. He was already available, but now he has to be moved because you want to use Ville Husso. Ville Husso is a goaltender that's very solid, but he struggled this season. So you want to give him extended reps in the cage in order to get back on track. Gibson is 31 years old. He's still very much in the prime of his career. He could help a team really reach the next level, the upper echelon, and the Penguins are a team that desperately needs goaltending, especially with the way that Yoel Blanc was played in that last game towards the end of that contest when the Penguins were outplaying the New York Rangers. Now we have a 2-game set with the Philadelphia Flyers today and then Thursday. The trade deadline will be upon us before you realize it. Is the first week of March is the trade deadline, March 7th, and John Gibson's going to be moved by the deadline. It's just a matter of if the Penguins want to take the time to go out there and acquire a goaltender if they're really giving up on the season. So I truly believe this is a golden opportunity. Even if you're not going to compete this year, John Gibson's going to help you for the next couple years. He's under team control. He's a very, very solid goaltender. The best goalie the Penguins have had since Marc-Andre Fleury, if they could get their hands on him. I really do believe Gibby is the answer. He's a Pittsburgh native. This would be a homecoming that is long overdue. We've heard them linked together in the past. They go out and get Husso. They replace John Gibson, and now they can get John Gibson's money off the books. And there's no need for them to have three goalies on the roster. Gibson's injury is not serious. They have said that already. Elliot Friedman has been reporting on this. He should be back very soon. So they didn't just get Ville Husso to replace John Gibson for an injury reason. No, this is because they actually want Ville Husso to be their #2 goalie. So John Gibson will be traded. It's just a matter of if the Penguins foot the bill and go get John Gibson. He has been fantastic all season long. Dostal is amazing as well, but John Gibson, for a 31-year-old goalie, he has significantly better numbers than any goaltender the Penguins have had in a very long time. This has been atrocious to watch our goaltending situation unfold. We have all these prospects, all these great young players, the what-ifs, the potential for these guys, but nobody actually able to go into the net every day and give us a solid outing. John Gibson can be that. He can be that model of consistency, and he can help these young goalies develop as well. So there's a lot of reasons to bring in John Gibson, and I'm ready for the Penguins to just do it. It's time to get us a goaltender. Our goaltending has been so bad. It's the worst in the NHL. Our defense is the worst in the NHL. John Gibson can help erase a lot of those errors. You see how important it is for a team. I would call the New York Rangers mediocre. I'm sorry, Rangers fans, but I would say they're mediocre, and Igor Shesterkin makes them a playoff caliber team. Minimum a wild card team, at least this year. Last year they were great. This year they are a mediocre team, and they will be in the wild card because of Igor Shesterkin. Great goaltending, amazing goaltending, can erase a lot of other mistakes and make up for a lot of other lacking areas, and that's what the Penguins need to do. They need to go out and get a goaltender like John Gibson that can erase a lot of their defensive miscues and mistakes. Now we go to the next topic today, and that is our defense. Erik Karlsson. This is the way, and the way is talking about Erik Karlsson because he is in the news every single day since the start of the Four Nations face-off. The Penguins are ready to trade this dude. Kyle Dubas Dubas finally came out and said, I would trade Erik Karlsson in a heartbeat. That is the report that just surfaced today regarding Erik Karlsson, and it is new because yesterday we were reading about rumors that he was going to be linked to the Dallas Stars. A few days before that, the Florida Panthers, and now it's Penguins ready to move on from Erik Karlsson. That's the headline in the news today. Penguins insider and The Athletic's Josh Yeo reported on this earlier today. He said that one source told me if Kyle Dubas could, he would trade Karlsson in a heartbeat. And really the problem here is teams are not aligning on the value of Erik Karlsson. He's been so inconsistent in his time at Pittsburgh. He's a hard guy to evaluate. So teams don't know what he's actually worth, and the Penguins don't even know what he's actually worth. So Kyle Dubas, of course, is willing to trade him, but is a team actually going to meet his demands and asking price? That's the big question. And the other huge question that comes along with Erik Karlsson is the finances. He has such a big cap hit, and the Penguins will more than likely need to eat some of that cap in order to get a deal done. Kyle Dubas seems ready to do that. And if he is willing to do that, he'll probably get more assets in return if he's willing to eat some of the salary cap for Erik Karlsson, and it would benefit the Penguins in the long run. It might not for the next couple years, but it would benefit the Penguins in the long run to get rid of Erik Karlsson's contract, and that is what everybody's talking about right now. Karlsson, one of the top names on the trade market. Erik Karlsson has been so underwhelming for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and we're just tired of it at this point. We're ready to let him go. Kyle Dubas is ready to let him go. It's just a matter of finding the right trade partner. Could it be the Panthers? Could it be the Stars? Could it be some mystery team, some dark horse team that we're not talking about? You never know. The other thing that was in both of these reports is that it is still technically more likely for him to be traded in the summer. So it's easier to get a deal done in the summer because rosters are shuffling a little bit more. There's a little bit more flexibility. During the season, it takes a little bit more to make a deal happen. And the reason why the Stars were linked to him in the first place is because they have a little bit of salary cap space because of LTIR slots that they are currently using. So they would be able to bring in Erik Karlsson, maybe afford him at a slightly discounted cap hit, and then they would just have to get their finances squared away before next season. So right now, Erik Karlsson being talked about a whole heck of a lot, more than he probably should be, but a lot of teams are knocking on the Penguins' door and giving Kyle Dubas a ring, seeing what is up and what he wants for Erik Karlsson, because they know he has a possibility of helping their team. The Penguins thought that too when they acquired him. That didn't happen, but other teams being desperate right now on the back end. Is Karlsson really going to help you defensively? Not really, but he could spark your offense, maybe spark your power play. He didn't work out on the Penguins' power play, but maybe, like we keep saying, a change of scenery could be good for the guy. As we move on to our final topic today, the Rusty Razor returns tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. We're taking on the Broad Street Bullies. It's the Battle of Pennsylvania, a 2-game series with the Flyers tonight and Thursday. It's a big series because we're battling for the bottom spot in the Metropolitan Division here in the Eastern Conference. Flyers are right above us, 2 points ahead of the Penguins right now, 7th and 8th in the division. So the Penguins desperately need the Rusty Razor to return, and that is exactly what they're going to get tonight. Brian Rust will be in the lineup against the Flyers in Philadelphia, according to Penguins play-by-play announcer Josh Getzoff. Rust was placed on injured reserve as a result of the lower body injury back at the beginning of February, but then he was missing 2 more games because of an illness. Luckily, Rust is ready to go here tonight. He only missed 2 more games after he was initially supposed to be activated from the IR. We didn't have a whole lot of news to go off of yesterday when I was reporting about this, but now that the Penguins have practiced today, we have a little bit more knowledge as to what's going on with Brian Rust, and he will be back in the lineup tonight against Philly, which is great news for the Penguins. A lot of big things happening with the Penguins, a lot of buzz. The stove is hot. Don't touch it. I'm going to touch it anyways. Let's go Pens, and let's beat the Flyers tonight. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you on the next episode.